Hello,
And
everyone.
there you go.
Thank
So
you so
how are
much
you?
for the invite. I'm great. I just want to thank you for the invite once again. This is fun.
Yeah. I love it. It was so like normally these interviews it takes a while to set up. Like sometimes it takes like months for people to be like, "I have a time." But it's like you texted me back or we emailed back and forth and you were like, "Let's just do this tomorrow."
Yeah.
So here we are. Yeah.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So anyway, so number one so I wrote some questions down, guys,
Yep.
because I felt like it. So number one, overview. What do you do? What do you teach? Who is the enigma that is Roxanne Swainhart?
I love that, the enigma. Well, I've been doing this since 2013. So we're 2026. I woke up November of 2013. Well, that's when I started channeling. But the summer before is when I started seeing Bashar and Abraham and reading books and becoming familiar with Rob Gauthier, Daniel Scranton,
Another
Wendy.
Michigander.
I'm another Michigander, right?
Yep.
Wendy Kennedy, Nora Harold. And
Love
I
all
was
of
like,
them.
oh my God, what is this entire world? I had books. I had a really, really great community around me that I just stumbled upon perchance about going to a guided meditation. And they're like talking about you create your own reality, this and that. So it started me on this journey. I became a channeler in November. I've been here for, doing my work every day. It's provided me with a great life because I live to do this. This is my passion. So my universe supports me. So I don't have a regular job, so to speak. This is my job. I have my classes, my channelings, my YouTube, and it provides me enough monetary support, of course, because we live in a monetary world still, um, to do this work until something shifts. And so the work is focused on self-discovery or enlightenment. I see a lot of ideas about when I first started out, it was about X and Y, Z, future, potential, a whole bunch of external ideas that I noticed. And I remember when Bashar had said to me, enlightenment is not an outside job. Enlightenment is an inside job. You have to enlighten what is dark in yourself, which is the division. So, since the idea, if you're on board with the idea that we're all creators, and we chose to come here and experience a life of not knowing we're creators. So that personality we built from the separated self, we're at birth, we have no idea where we're at, what we're doing, what's all this. We start to covet mom's beliefs, dad's beliefs, languages, cultures, morals, different ways of projecting yourself. And then all of a sudden we get out into the world and we see, holy crap, there's a whole bunch of other people doing a whole bunch of different things. And then I realized, well, that's their truth and I'm my truth. Then I
Mhm.
started to see, well, my truth is the only thing that I experience. I experience my truth. No one can cause me pain. That's a scapegoat. That's an excuse. I interpret someone that is in the universe in my co-created world. If I interpret them as a negative belief, then I feel it. That's not their fault. I don't care what they are. I don't care if it's Mother Teresa or Hitler. They're all equal because what there are unconditional realities happening in the human journey of separation to give you the experience of not being God and feeling the wonderful life of that separation in a dualistic manner, good and bad, happy and sad, success, failure. So then I saw, oh, it's me. I create my own universe. So what did I have to do? I need to enlighten myself. How do I do that? Recognize my own diarrhea, recognize those belief systems that I bought into, start to deconstruct them through surrender and allowance, and choosing a new self that is worthy of my intuition self to expand myself and evolve me. I can't wait for someone to do that. I can't change the world into the perfect idea. That's the same thing as what Hitler tried to do, or
Hmm.
Stalin, or our current guy up there right now. Let's make it all this.
Right.
And that can't. That's outside. So my work is 100% on self-discovery, ascension of the individual singularity that chose to come here to figure out its journey if it has a potential to do so. And I woke up to it and I was like, oh, okay, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them. Nope, nope, still not them. Oh, what is it? It's me. So I've got to evolve me. And that's what my whole focus is about. Is about people recognizing that you're carrying a set of belief systems that are absolutely true to you. And they're so true, they create your reality. And those are not false and they're not wrongs. They're choice. But until you recognize that they're choice and you recognize that you can change your reality through choosing a new truth within your kingdom, then your life is going to be exactly what it is. You're going to feel the same way. You're going to stay in the same algorithms. You're going to do those things. Not wrong. No one's judging. No one's in charge. It's your universe. Have a good time. This is the way you choose to experience your separation. Beautiful. But when you become aware, then you have a chance, a choice to change. And if you do that, you start to represent an authentic vibration of a light-bearing light that says you're allowed to be yourself here. Trick is to find out what you are, who you are, and not what you were or what you think you should be. Because then you're always trying to maintain an identity of a certain idea because you bought into the diarrhea of other people saying, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do this and this is the way you're going to do it. Meanwhile, they're miserable in their own world because they don't know how to do it because they're always trying to get the outside to do it to fulfill the inside.
Right.
So I said, no. It's all about the internal self. And that's my work. That's my focus.
I really like that analogy of comparing your choices to the algorithm, because it is you're separating what you prefer and what you don't prefer, and according to that, it does change your reality. It really does.
Every day.
Yeah.
You keep it the same or you change it. People that go to work and they want to stand up for themselves, but their fear says, no, you're not allowed to, because the consequences might be this. So instead of being your natural light and your brave self to birth a new self and have the mirror be reflected, you stay the same self in dormancy. And then you put up with what it is, and then you start to rot because you're not being your honest self. You start to loathe, you start to hate, and you start to become more and more validated in division. And then you start to blame and gossip the outside instead of saying, I'm afraid to be myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid. Good.
I've done
now
all
you
of that.
recognize fear. So now go to work on your fear and take a chance on yourself, because otherwise you're going to be pushing up daisies at the end of your miserable ride because you didn't have enough courage to find out that you're a god. And that's not wrong. It's everyone's journey. Always remember that, masters. Nobody's wrong. Right and wrong is an opinion of a divided self that lies within your head. Everything in creation is happening, therefore it's true. It's how you interpret it that it creates your experience on this particular point of view. Human. Beautiful.
True. I love that. I feel like you're channeling already. We don't even have to go into channel mode.
A lot of people say, just you don't have to channel. Then, I give two classes. One that I teach this ascension idea, and the other one is the advanced classes for when I channel him. We channel some outstanding, off the charts, not even a conceptual idea of what humanity would consider anything useful, because it's so out there. It's wonderful, wonderful work.
That is cool. I love that. Well, I wanted to kind of go back to your initial, how did you discover that you could channel? Did you start any particular practices, or did it happen spontaneously?
It was a cool thing. It was this, in that guided meditation group, we were, after the guided meditation, we're sitting around having coffee afterwards, and there was about 20 people that went. So there's about 10 people left, other people left. So we're sitting there talking about ascension stuff, this and that, and different ideas. And someone had asked a question, and some people were coming up with the answers. And then I got a voice in my head, and it said, hey, Roxanne, say this. So I said, hey, guys. And I said it, whatever the answer was. And everybody stopped and go, holy shit, that's wonderful. Where the hell did you get that? And I said, I don't know. I got a guy in my head just told me that. And I said, hey, what's your name? And he goes, my name is Hugh. And I told him, and I said, his name is Hugh. And he answered a few more questions. And as I'm driving home after that, he goes, I'm here to teach you how to channel. If you want to be a channel, you're attracting that potential. And I said, absolutely. And then he taught me a few things. And then I just started.
Oh,
I just
wow.
started. I trusted. I first learned a language. It was a light language. And I was talking to these beings that spoke this language. And I would talk to them, and they would come in the room, the presence, vibrational presence, not physical presence.
Right.
But anyways, they're vibrationally. And I would answer questions of people that were in these groups. And we start doing that. And then Osipius came and we started, he goes, I'm going to show you how to channel and speak in this idea. So you don't have to keep translating back and forth between these languages. You can still do that, but you also have this option. And then Osipius came through. And then I started my YouTube channels. I posted once a week, and then I start posting twice a week. And now I'm back to once a week. And then that's it. Yeah.
How did the teaching stuff come about?
To teach people this through experience. I mean, I'm a great speaker anyway. I don't know
You
why.
are.
I've always had the ability of the gift of gab, the silver
Yeah.
tongue. What doesn't matter. I was a salesman for 25 years back in my Roy days instead of my Roxanne days. So I was a great salesperson. I was a manager. I trained salespeople in the car business. I did all of that for 25 years. I was, doing that stuff. So I got real good at it. So I've always had this natural ability to teach. It was just built in. I never had an issue with it. I never have an issue. I can go, if I'm going in front of 2 people or 200,000 people, there's no difference. It is no vibrational difference. I just said, I go, I lock in, and I go. So I started these different classes of the things that I learned over those years. I put together a curriculum to say, here's my path to ascension. There's other paths, but here's what I've discovered. And people come and take those classes, and they learn how to recognize themselves, transcend themselves, bring their vibrational skills into their work, and then of course create their persona instead of a personality that's built on other people's realities. It's like you have a castle, real quick, you have a castle, and they're built on everyone else's blueprints because you didn't know anything. So
Exactly.
you tear everything down and create your own castle as you see fit. And the thing is, a lot of people say, well, I don't know how to do anything. I'm so afraid. You don't know how. No one knows how. You just do. And then you adjust yourself as you go. You brave yourself. You don't worry about consequences. You don't worry about fear. And you discover that, oh my God, I'm a God. Cool. We're going to find
I feel like I'm in the beginning stages of building my castle, and just instead of living in fear, I don't know how this happened, but one day what was it? I was working with my heart chakra, and I kept feeling this kind of like almost this accordion effect. Like it would open, and then I would think of something and it would just close back up. And then I would have to concentrate, be like, okay, open it back up, open up your field. You can stay like this. But then something would, I would have a fearful thought, and then it would just like slam back shut. And I thought to myself, I was just like, why is this happening? And all of a sudden I was like, wait, do I have anything to fear right now? Do I have anything? Yeah, there was nothing. I was like, can I love myself right now? The past doesn't matter. The future doesn't matter. What about right now? And then all of a sudden it was like, whoosh, and it just kind of blew open. And I felt like I like walked through this energetic door, and I was like, wow, it really can be that easy. Like you can let it be easy. It doesn't have to be a struggle.
It doesn't have to be a struggle. If you still have fears, then you have a belief system in your thing that says this is afraid, this is fear.
Oh yeah.
That's not wrong. If you understand how to not be fearful, great. I've deconstructed my fear. So I don't have the ability to have fear, have guilt, have sorrow, have hope, have need, have want, have desire any longer. I'm just the will of the now. That's why it was so easy. It was like, yeah, do it. Because that was my alignment. I trust it. I don't need to make sure. I don't need to fix. I don't need to prepare. Life is now. Life has always been now. It never will be anything but now because it's always here and now. Future is from your memory. Your past is from your memory. They
Hmm.
both are projecting of what happened and what might happen, which is still occurring right now. So if you
Yes.
want to create
Oh,
all
I
of
love
your
that.
fears about the future, you're creating your now. That's all you're doing. You're not making a difference in your future. You're creating your now, and your now creates your future. So that's why you have to pay attention and live in the second law, here and now. Everything is here and now. Live it.
Your memories and your programs pretty much dictate
Your behavior
everything until you deconstruct.
until you see it and say, no more of this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to fight this. I'm not going to be that person. It doesn't deserve my attention. No matter what my emotional draw, my fears, my obligation, I have to, because if I don't, this will happen and all that. You go through that. But that's the master class. People think this is just another show. It is another show. It's another room, but it's a mastery of ascension. It's ascending a species that never knew it was God. And you only have one thing to do it, yourself. That represents we're not this, we're something else. Let's go find out what it is. And we do. And it's inside, it's not outside.
Yeah. I mean, that's why so many people have such a hard time looking at the external, because they don't want to recognize it as a part of themselves at all, you know.
But see, it's not themselves. It's a reflection of you as a creator, but you didn't create that as a fault. See, that's where it is. People think what you get out is what you get back. Well, I'm not being nothing but positive, and I'm being this, and why am I still getting assholes in my universe? Why am I still getting negative things? You're not getting positive or negative. You're not putting out positive or negative. You're putting out truth. You have to look at the relationship of your vibration. If you still can have a conceptual idea of a negative thing, then you're going to attract what you would interpret as a negative idea. But it's not a negative idea until you say it is. That's what you got to see, masters. So you got to understand that this is an internal journey. This is enlightenment, not excitement. And the outside is not at fault. The outside is saying, hey, do you want to keep doing this to yourself? If you do, I will respond in kind because I love you. This is the mirror talking. Reality says, I'll give you anything. I will never argue with you. I will never do anything but love you as I do, because that's what it is. But you can't think in terms of positive and negative. You have to think in terms of authenticity. You have to be the God that you are. And in order to do that, you got to look inside. Everyone has staved off their truth because of fear. Everyone has done that. You can recognize when you choose the logical, reasonable, most welcome answer that would make everybody happy. Let's please the people. And you're going to be this idea hero in your head that you don't cause waste. Well, that's your misery that you're creating in your head because you think you're special and you're doing that. No, you're creating your world like that. And that's your pain, and no one else can feel it. Nobody can feel your world. Isn't that wonderful how subjective it truly is?
It's so simple once you feel into it.
It gives you such insight. And now wait a minute, I can create my world by being myself. Believe me, I was scared to death to choose these unknown realities. I had to be brave and not, do what I was supposed to do, not be the idea of budgeting or making sure and shoring up my safety and securities about my future. I let everything come to me. And you know what? It did. And I'm not special. I'm another run-of-the-mill God, just like you. Reality, it's a law. It'll come and rock you in the bosom of grace if you allow it. But the more you interrupt it with your defenses, with your judgments, then you create that cycle in your life, period.
So how do you advise people to kind of phase out judgment?
Recognize the judgment they hold. How
In
about
the
people?
moment.
Let's take a hot topic, okay? Let's take vegans. Vegans look at non-vegans as something. That's not wrong to be vegan, nor is it right to be vegan. It's choice to be vegan. But as soon as a vegan looks at another person, that's their division because they're not on board with them. But if they were on board, oh, we're grouping together. We got comfort in numbers. Look at us. We're vegans. We're against the non-vegans. That's a division that continues your life until you die. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to get better because the reality is going to give you the opposition as long as you see that. So if you defend, you get war. You get attacked. So if you are an idea of putting up a defense of the vegan is better, then you're going to attract animal lovers that are going to eat their lovers, not loving animals, eat animals. You're going to attract those kind of realities in front of you to say, I don't like that. So you keep getting to sue to say, I don't like that. Why? Because that's your authentic self.
Wow.
The mirror doesn't think. It doesn't
Yeah.
have an idea of a consciousness. It doesn't look at this love thing that everyone hopes reality is. It's not. It's unconditional. It means there is only you and your vibration that create and attract your world. It is your interpretation, is your experience. No one else's.
Yeah.
When you see
That
that,
makes sense.
when you own that, everything will change. And then you don't have to worry about the people doing this or the people doing that. It's none of my business. I don't care. I don't care if you're this or that. You know, it doesn't matter to me. I'm fine. People look at me because I'm Roxanne, I'm transgender. And look at me and they're like, support, negative, whatever. It doesn't matter. No one comes. And the only thing is that if they ever shit on my porch, that's when we have an issue. If they come up to me and be that physical or something like that, which has never happened. It's never happened. I've gotten looks, I've gotten remarks, and I've gotten this and, different things. I was like, I don't care. It doesn't bother me because I have no interpretation of that lack. I don't need their approval. They don't need to participate in my reality. I don't make demands on people to say, I'm this and I demand you to be this. No. They're gods on their journey. Let them have it. You know why I don't demand? Because I don't have lack about myself. Because I know one thing. I'm enough. Because I'm God. I'm whole. I'm all that is.
That's awesome. I love that. Wow. So when you think about it, when you judge, that's just you and your need.
Belief systems.
Yeah, you and your belief systems and your need for external validation.
Absolutely.
And when something that you see you don't agree with and you judge it, that's really just the mirror reflecting back to you.
If you see YouTubes are full of Karens. These people go apeshit for no reason. Because they have no validation of self. So if they cause pain and they win a fight, they'll feel their identity as purposeful. So that void, when you get here, you're not God. All of a sudden, if any of you haven't read the Seth material, Seth Speaks, read Seth. There is so much information about Seth in that, in that phenomenal stuff. But Seth had said, you're the only one that creates the relationship. You're the one is relating to reality. So if you look at that emptiness that needs to be fulfilled by external validation, then that is your addiction. So you will get unfulfilled. So you need to fill yourself. How do you do that? Look how Karens do it. They go around screaming at people for no freaking reason because they're invalid to themselves. They need the outside to validate the inside. And that is externalism. Subjective is I'm enough. I don't need to cause other people's pain. They're not doing anything. If a person is doing harm to someone and I'm witness to it, I'm stopping it. I'm jumping right the fuck in, knee deep, all I got to prevent that pain. That's in my world, that's my choice, and I'm the freedom of my choice. That's the nature of me. But if someone is just doing something that they're idiots about, they're assholes, they're this, they're that, I don't care. It's not my world. Unless I want to make it my world. I got to realize I create my pain, I create my happiness, and my belief systems that I bought into because I was empty of dualistic reality means what? I get to experience a dual reality. Ta-da! What happens if you
Ta-da.
take away your duality and you only have the unconditional? Well, I can tell you this, it's fucking bliss. It is
It would be
absolute
pretty great.
exquisite. It's still life. You still feel. I still watch TV. I still watch shows. I still feel the excitement of shows. I still teach. I still get the high from teaching. I still make my teas. I still go for drives. I'm not this all, I'm still
You're
the
still human.
expression of humanity. But God, I tell you, I'm free from any ounce of pain. I never seek happiness again because happiness is just an emotion that quickly fades. It's the bliss of existence that you seek. It's beyond content.
Yeah. Well, it's knowing that you are God, that you are the all that is.
Right. And you can't know it up here. You got to know it in here.
Yeah.
You can't fake yourself. You got to be yourself. Faking yourself is what you think you need to do to ascend. And that's what you need to recognize, is that your ego is the thinking mind. And whenever it postulates an idea of action, you take it and you're only going to get the results of the action of that frequency. But if you don't use this action of frequency, use this action of frequency, this is God, this is not God.
Yeah.
This you get.
That's number one rule right
You
there.
get the unknown.
Yeah.
That's the work.
Yeah.
That's the master.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean that's what I've been practicing on, is
Work on it.
staying more in the heart. Yeah, it's so easy to just fly up into your brain and
Well, that's what we're taught.
postulate and,
That's what we think. That's what life is. We're always up in our head thinking
right.
what to do, how to prevent this and that. And people have those truths and people interpret, but we also have common sense, internal common sense. We also have scrutiny, which not enough people use scrutiny. Humanity, well, let's talk about the United States, bought into fear, hope, and separation. And that's what they got in the representative as our leader of the country right now. And they bought the emotions. They didn't buy the scrutiny. They didn't scrutinize and look deeper and say, wait a minute. These people are just different because they're an expression of creation. The difference doesn't challenge me. It doesn't take away from me. It doesn't hurt me because I'm not special enough. But he says I am. He says I'm the superior race. He says this is the way to do it. Everybody else go. I'm going to put him in the office. And I know where they played that out. They played that out in Germany already.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
people
that's not right
giving their power away to this.
Remember, that's not right or wrong. That's the choice of the collective. You as a light bearer have to make the choice of being the light, the internal light, and don't fear the outside world. Create the world, and the world around you will support you as you journey in that authentic. That's what takes trust to find out if you're a God or not. You can't have it prepared. You can't have your safety and security in place. You got to be an unknown, naked, vulnerable God in the moment to say, let me find out if I'm God, with only using the internal as this to guide you. Your intuition, your notions, your trust in yourself. And you'll find out that you are God. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And I feel like if you have trouble, well, not trouble, but if you're having a challenge with breaking through, for me anyway, when I said to myself, is there anything to fear right now in this moment? And my brain just said, no, there's nothing. And it just fell away.
No. Because if you have the ability to ask you that question, then you're not in jeopardy. When you're in danger, you're not thinking, do I have anything to fear? You're in danger. That's a different thing. Fear is in the future. Based on the past, always.
Yeah, that's such a great, I mean, I always knew that, but when you just said that, it was like, wow, it's so true. It's all of your memories stored up in your brain, and that's what dictates what you think the future is going to be. It's all based on your past, on what you've already experienced.
That's the personality that we built. We created a void of separation, not knowing your own love, your own unconditional. We only create a personality through that. That's who we think we are. That's not wrong. That's the quality of this experience. We got to be the full Monty if we're going to not be gods. That's why it's a master class. Every species knows humanity is the master class of ascension, which tells you two things. that you earned your way here because you're authentic enough and brave enough to come here to do it. And the second thing, you must be good at ascending. Otherwise, you wouldn't have come to the planet. You've ascended other species. You've done your ascension work. You have it in you to attract this reality into your life.
Okay. Yeah, that just hit something in my heart chakra when you were like, you know how to do this. Yeah, we do. We just have to remember.
And then the freedom is knowing no matter what you choose, no one is judging it. No one's
all valid.
No one's watching. No one is ever going to judge. You know where judgment comes from? Humans.
The external and the lack.
Your ego, externalized self that you created, the validation of the external through other lackful gods, you're going to get that. You have to be, no, I'm choosing something else today. That's when your vibration shifts. People always ask me, how do I raise my vibration? I said, why do you have to raise it? It's already God. It's already beautiful. Oh, they're looking.
Why do you have to strive?
Go higher, lower. Oh, higher. Huh? That's the reality. Isn't higher, lower. That's the way the mind measures. Authentic is what you want to be. That's how you change your vibration out of the idea of polarity into the idea of the unconditional.
Yeah, because the more authentic you are, the less garbage you're holding on to, the less stress, the less like clenching and white knuckling, and you can just relax and just let things happen.
I don't. There are days at a time I don't do anything except the now. Whatever it is. Sometimes I okay, I got to go to HEB today and get some groceries. That's pretty much the only intention I ever have anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about anything. Everything I used to worry about, money, bills, family, people, anything that was obligatory that I was taught as a person are all crumbled. God, me, create and support me. My money comes in here. My money comes in here. It doesn't matter. All I know for the last 11 years, 12 years, I've always had it. It's always shown up. I've never been hungry. I've never been poor. I've never not paid my rent, never not paid my bills. It's always been there. Why? Because I'm God.
Okay.
I trust it.
It might just show up in weird ways, but you'll always have it.
Doesn't matter how it comes. Why judge what needs to come?
Oh, you're right. You're right. I did just judge, didn't I?
Yeah. There's nothing weird except what your mind says is weird. You placing the external as an idea of unexpected weird. Not wrong. Recognition is what you need. You always need to recognize yourself. So you got to watch everything that's coming out of your mouth going, wait a minute, look at me create my universe. Let me look at this truth. Let me go ahead and swallow my pride and look at me. Because it's me that create me, no one else. It's all about the internal. It's enlightenment. It would have called exlightenment if it was external, but it's not. It's enlightenment.
And watch your words. Watch your wording. Yeah. I was wondering, what's your how has this whole process kind of evolved your family relationships? Has it?
My family, we've never been close because I was always, my dad's Republican, my mom's Republican, my brother is whatever my parents want him to be. He's the smart kid, athletic kid. I was athletic too, but he was just really smart, and I was not smart. School.
You did it. School? You just did it. You just did it.
Fuck school. No. Anyway, so that idea, right? That idea about the family was an obligation. Me and my mom argued. She's a Greek mom. I was a woman. We argued. I was supposed to be a man, but I wasn't. My dad didn't like me because I didn't do manly things. I didn't act manly. I was the one who wanted to get married. I've got married 3 times in my life because I was marrying for what I thought was supposed to be the thing to do. I'm supposed to do this. That's what they taught me. I'm supposed to do that. Why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? Because it wasn't me. I was always being the identity. Never worked. Never worked. And I stopped. In 2010, I stopped being the idea of what I was supposed to be, and I start being Roxanne. As soon as that happened, half of my world crumbled, and the freedom of my own realization of self took precedence. Make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
And then,
Once you give up the facade, once you
yeah,
drop
no shit.
that
And then
baggage,
realizing the rest of the time you're still full of your facades, but you just don't know it. So
yeah,
that's why you have to work diligently every day to recognize the belief systems that are attached to emotions that'll tell you that's a belief, which implies doubt, which implies duality. And then if you can do something about it, once you recognize that now you can do something, you change by choice and you enlighten yourself.
Hmm.
It's all about the kingdom, returning to the kingdom of I am.
right.
My journey, anyway. And all of this is choice. And all of you watching later on, this is all choice. This is just a representation that was attracted into your world. You said yes to this world. Here it is. And now, whatever you do with it, it doesn't matter. That's the freedom you must realize, because there's no pressure, there's no obligation, there's no judgment, there's no responsibility. That's all in your head. That's human.
Wow.
You're not human.
That is freeing. That is definitely freeing.
I
That
love
frees
it.
up a lot of space once you realize that. For sure.
I love it. It's very
I love it too. I feel like I just dropped 10 pounds.
Vibrational sounds like, get out of here.
Oh, that's great. I just I'm going to keep reminding myself of that, because like you said, it's sometimes it's like minute by minute you just really need to stay with I feel like it's a very diligent process, because belief systems they're so ingrained, from before birth, even when you're in the womb. You have epigenetics, you have generational ancestral garbage stuck in your body, and it's
not
a
garbage.
big process.
It's not
Well,
garbage.
I mean, not all of it. Some of it
None of
needs
it.
to go, but
It's
none
all
of it.
unconditional. It's all unconditional.
See, I did it again. Thank you.
Yeah.
You just have to love
Don't
it.
put yourself as a victim to cause and effect.
Mm.
People rely on identities. What's the
Yeah.
next? The fashion now is, or the latest craze is, everyone's autistic.
Oh,
So
that's
now we're all
interesting.
going to be autistic
Hmm.
because it's a thing. Now it turns out I'm autistic. Now I got to worry about that. No, you don't.
Right.
You're choosing to be autistic. You may have a relationship to reality. Tommy Jean is certified autistic because he's been state since he was 17 years old, in the state's care since he was 17, because he's autistic. That's my boyfriend, Tommy. So when you talk to him, you're like, oh man, he's autistic, because you understand. But the other ones that are just claiming it for an idea, that's not wrong. They're just creating their reality through those accepted truths. Nothing comes to the kingdom until you say yes to it. But we didn't know we were saying yes to the things, because that's how we got separated to experience not being a God. But if you wake up, then you can see, then you can change. That's up to you.
It's
But always
interesting
know
that
the
you
freedom. It
mentioned.
doesn't matter what you choose. Always know that freedom, because no one's
Right.
ever going to judge you. Go ahead.
Oh, I just was going to say it's interesting that you mentioned the autism issue, because I work in an adult care facility for autistic people. So I just thought it was interesting that you mentioned it. I love the energy of the people that I work with. I feel like they are
Well, they don't carry the other diarrhea, the humans, because they don't
Yep.
cover those ideas. But they
Yep.
have their own reality.
It's
You
true.
know? Remember, everyone is their own kingdom. My blue is my blue. We can describe it to the end of time, but you'll never see what I'm seeing, because I'm not you. I'm me. I'm
Mhm.
my own kingdom. You're your own kingdom. It's one and all one. That's it.
That's it.
The all are one and one are all. That's it. You're God, I'm God. Everyone else is God. But we only see from our perspective. Our singular subjective view of reality is the experience of our self. Period. It doesn't belong to anyone else.
It's like a big disco ball, and we're each the little mirror squares.
Little facets of the diamonds.
Right. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, I guess I should look at my questions. Do I have any? I think we covered most of this stuff. Yeah. It's all here. You know what? It's all gone. We covered them all.
There you go. Look at us.
Yeah, we're already done. No, I'm just joking. So
Go
what
as
else?
long as you want, as
else?
short as you want. Believe me, I'm not carrying any expectations.
Well, what else should we talk about? Would you like to go into would you want to do some channeling?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I think I'm going to call this episode like reality check with Roxanne.
Reality check. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome.
Okay. Anyone particular? Oh, I guess not.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Whoever you want.
Who you want? Okay, I got it. He's here.
Okay.
Well, Roxy had a couple of different choices. My name is Sylvester. How are you?
Hi, Sylvester. It's nice to talk to you.
What's that?
I said it's nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you. What do you want to talk about? We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, because the idea behind channeling itself is to go beyond the human mind, right? So there's curiosities in humanity because they want mostly transient knowledge. Like they want to know, how do we create, let's say, free energy? Well, you can't, because the collective won't allow you to create free energy. Why? Well, because your entire society depends on fossil fuels right now. You have to change that. If you introduce this sudden idea, well, then you have 6 billion people out of work. That's going to lead to an economical crash. So let's not look at transient questions like to solve problems and do that. You got to go into a different part of you if you want to go beyond humanity. But a lot of people ask channelers stuff about the human ideas. Sometimes they ask about their past lives. Sometimes they ask about what they call future lives, which are all truly now lives. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, what do you want to talk about, doll?
How does the human collective make choices?
Through their perceived belief systems and their initially belief systems. You know, you're separated from your nature, your persona. When you come here, you're separated. As Seth said, when you came here, you were terrified because you're this enormous, internal, without measure being squashed down into a tiny little frequency that puts so much pressure on you, it terrified you. That's where it's very terrifying to come to humanity. You're birthed, you don't know who you are, you don't know anything. It's all gone. So you covet, as Roxanne put it, you see way, you become that, and that's how you express your reality. So they make choices through what's reasonable within the individual mind on their own measured reality of good and bad to where to navigate those choices. Some people are risk takers. No, they're not. They just don't have enough fear as you would about a certain idea. Some people are saying, let's be a little bit more cautious with this. And the risk taker goes, why? There's nothing to fear here. Subjective. Each universe is different. So they choose upon what they find in the truth. And the truth is always in the now. And the now is always true. It's never false. It's never left. It's never night. It's never blame. It's never all the things that human decorate it with. It is exactly what it is. It's true in the now, and how you interpret it becomes your reality. So if humans make their choices on what's been represented, what they find valuable to them. The collective used to drill holes in heads of people to let out the demons all the way up into the 1920s. They shocked people. Today, still today, you use electroshock therapy to straighten them people up. These are atrocities to other humans, but they're the unconditional. But that's the truth of the individual to experience this game called humanity. There's no judgment in that. The individual who's getting shocked is experiencing. But when they're done with human, they're not fucked up because of what happened in human, because it was just an experience. It's a roller coaster ride. It's a steak dinner. It's a nice walk on the beach. There's no difference except for what the mind perceives. And the mind perceives only what its truth is. And your truth is based on what you carry every day, reinforce every day, birth every day. But the master who sees the truth in itself can change it. Only then can the world change for itself. Make sense?
It does.
What do you got here,
It
Rox?
does.
Just water? Tea?
Okay, I have another question. Have
Whoa.
humans just programmed themselves to think that
Who?
suffering is the only way to change?
What's that?
Have humans programmed themselves
A
to
lot of
think
them.
that suffering is the only way that
Well, let
we
me
are
ask
able
you this.
to
What do you
change?
think?
I think so.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
that's the way you perceive reality, and that is a truth within your kingdom. But you can't perceive it another way because you see it represented every day. They're
Mm,
choosing their idea. So I'm going to represent you don't have to ascend through suffering. You don't have to be great through suffering. Roxanne's mother, the more miserable God, the more ideas she earned in heaven,
yeah.
right? Because that was a
That's
belief
what.
system that was taught by society. Society's
Mhm.
religion has been so strong. You think Christianity is strong today? Way you go back to when you had all those gods with the Egyptians, with the Greeks, with the Norse, that was more fanatical than what you are today. You were really fanatical for the 10, let's see, it was 100 years, 10 generations of slaughter that the Crusades committed around the world. You
Yeah.
guys almost touched what the other things empowered. You killed more. The Christians killed more. You killed a lot more people than any other religion in this world. But it's a truth that if you suffer, then you gain praise. And that's humans. But that's not right or wrong. See, we're not about the outside. You think I care what other gods do? The only gods that show up in my world are the ones that I attract. So if I'm having a problem with a god, A, I'm polarized, which means I'm not being a god, it means I'm being human, which is not going to happen because I'm a god. And B, it's the unconditional, and it must be based upon my vibration because that's law. Picking up when I'm laying down? All right.
You're funny. You're funny,
Oh, I'm all
Sylvester.
right. I'm a good time.
Do you have any messages for the people watching this video?
Not really a message. Roxanne pretty much said the most of it. She's really good at understanding. Roxanne work got to her point. She's really good at understanding what it is, what the method is that she's come up with through her own experience to ascend herself. She's gotten to the point to where no matter what choice she makes, she has no bearing of right or wrong in any kind of inkling that adds to the vibration of her vortex in the now, because none of those thoughts exist within her anymore. So if there's any message, you got to understand, look at these two truths. The kingdom of heaven lies within, is what Roxanne talked about, and the truth lies in the eye of the beholder. See, Constantine and his fucking monks up there that changed all the Bible. And by the way, the book of Matthew is an entire farce. It is in no book. That book is an entire farce. Anyways, all the other books were good books, but of course they were dictated. What? Well, because you got this guy, his name's Constantine. He has a big fat ego, as most men do, and especially in the frequency. Back in the Atlantean days, more and more women in charge. But they're still divided, and they're still as big as dick as men are today. So that's not like, oh, women will run the world right. No, you won't. You'll get fucking ego because you haven't. Anyways, so these ideas of these Atlanteans, ideas were more women and now it's more men. And here's Constantine, I got to be a man. So my pagan mom who talks about love, who has more power than me, hey, I got a guy here. I found a book. It's 400 years old. Let me see if I can turn this guy into a Christian. Let's take all these and put it into one big book and say, hey, here you go. This is the way it is. And it's spread like wildfire with men, because now they get to dominate women. Great. Now the women has to go to church with their head covered. You're not allowed to show yourself. You got to be this. You got to be home pumping out the boys and the girls. Great. Hey, man, all it is, guys, just look. Look. All it is life happening. Doesn't that tell you the truth of heaven? Or rather, the truth lies within the eye of the beholder. See, that's how we see the world. That's what's been represented because that's the authentic of the collective. The authentic of the collective decided to put another racist in charge of the United States, which is only going to lead to the downfall of the United States. because it's going to divide it. That's it.
Yep.
And it's not right or wrong. And even what I'm saying here today is not right or wrong. It's a perception based on you. So what is the real message here, guys? You interpret your own reality. And it's up to you what you want to take in and what you don't. But you have to be on guard about where your emotions are taking you on those constant truths from your memory that say this is the right way. Because the right way is only one way. It's your right way, but it's not the right way for reality. How many times have we differed? How many laws do you have to keep putting into place? How many more ways do you need to control the human? That leads to the idea. That's what's represented in division. I'm divided. If I see that, I'm divided. My message is I'm divided. I need to look at the kingdom. I need to realize that my truth creates my kingdom. That's what you have to realize. We can externalize all day. We can find fault with reality all day through a polarized conception, through a lens of polarization of right and wrong based on an individual moralistic scale, which, if you guys haven't noticed, has changed through the centuries. Used to be that this was the way to go, and now that's an idiotic way to go, like drilling the holes in the head, and now we don't do that. We don't give lobotomies anymore, publicly anyway. Humanity is an atrocious species because they're trying to find the truth outside of themselves. They don't see the unconditional inside, and that's not wrong. That's why we have light bearers. Roxanne is a light bearer, not a light worker. A light worker is someone that claims the light, but still deconstructs their own light with a polarized point of view about reality. They're divided. You said to Roxanne earlier, what did you say earlier? These people are saying, whoa, we're the chosen ones. We're the ones that we're the light bearers. But not you, but not you, but not you. If they're divided, then they're not a light bearer. They're a light worker taking on an identity, still changing the definitions, but still using. They change the words, but they're still using. You know, they're not a massage therapist, they're a Reiki guy now or something like that. They just change it, but they're still holding on the vibration of separation. That's the mastery of this game. So Roxanne saw it. She represents it. She's a light bearer. She changes lives. If people come into her reality, she'll show how to become a god. That's it. It's not the only way to do it. It's just one way. There's 1,000 other ways to go home. But as soon as Constantine got a hold of that idea from the pagan, he ran with it and he created this next idea of division. But that division was closer to God. It was the Christ conscience, which means what? God isn't up there. God is in my heart now through his son. That got you closer. Now that you are in the age of Aquarius, this is the water bearer. What is that? That's turning this ice into liquid. You're going from solid to the next ascending idea of liquid state. That's the crystalline body. That's everything that's coming for the humanity's ascension within the next 2,000 to 3,000 years, depending on the collective's journey. It always changes every day, depending on the light that is shining through. It never goes back, though. It always goes forward. Although things look like shit now, but people got to say, wow, this is what we did. Do we want to keep doing this? Maybe not. So in order to see change, there must be representation of change. That's what Roxy does. That's what you do. You have to be light bearers. Not jump on board and try to make money and feel special. Look at me. I'm this and I'm that. I'm this great chosen one. I was sent here to save humanity. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You just chose your own mastery to ascend yourself. Represented, the collective ascends.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love changing it from light worker, from trying to control and change other people, to light bearer, where you just show people.
You have to represent, because no one can change a person. Person have to accept their own change.
Exactly.
You represent it without. It's like I own an apple orchard, right? So every day I go and pick my apples. I go up to the end of my property where there's this big road and I've got traffic on it, right? And I hang bag after bag on my fence. I offer anyone who comes by free bag of apples. If they pick them up, great. If they don't, I bring them back in. I'll feed them to my horses. I offer without expectation. Zero expectation. Because I'm not depending on the outside to create the inside. I am the one and all. I am God already. I am whole already. And so are each and every one of you, except for your divided perspective. Don't think for 1 second, guys, that God's out there. God's right here. You are, every day you get up, go to the mirror and go, thou shalt have no gods before me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
Don't put another God in front of you, because then you're going to live under the guise of that. You are going to be less than to the guise of a perspective human that thinks better than you do. Ha!
Oh, man. Wow.
No,
Thank you for, yeah, seriously. Thank you for all the wisdom, and in such an easy way to digest.
Plain,
Like,
simple,
these are
easy
easy
way.
steps to follow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And always remember to, I'm going to talk to you about something real quick, but you're allowed to accept this moment as your attraction, which means your work has offered new light change. So know unto yourself that you're doing a hell of a job to get this information into your life.
Thank you.
Right?
I
You
appreciate
don't need, listen to me, guys. Let me just have an idea. There's nothing wrong with giving gratitude, but don't give a gratitude with a relationship without that outside. There is no inside, because then you give away your gratitude. Be gratitude to yourself. Love thyself. If you want to understand what love is, you need to love yourself. You got to fall in love with the person you are. Become the person you would want to fall in love with. You be that person, then you're going to be the light that the humanity needs to see within themselves, that they can do the same.
Yeah, that's bottom line right there. You
We
have
are
to
a
love
full
yourself.
service channel. Booyah.
Oh, Sylvester, you are funny. I thank you for everything that I'm going to watch this replay. And thank you for the energetic transmission. Like, my heart chakra feels so good right now. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Would I be able to talk to Roxanne again?
Yeah, I'll bring her back. Roxy, you ready? She says yes.
Thanks,
We'll see you in
Sylvester.
the next now. Take care, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Sly kind of hangs on sometimes. He's like, yeah. I love
so were you there for that or
Oh yeah, I'm always there.
Okay,
but sometimes, I know what he's going to say, so I'll go over here for a while and focus on something else.
Yeah.
Because it flows
so
right
cool.
through me. So I know, it's fun.
Yeah.
I love channeling. I channel Sly in the master classes. We bring a whole bunch of other entities in sometimes. We bring different ideas of just what it is. I call them master classes. I call it advanced classes now. But anyways, yeah, I love channeling. I love it. I used to do, if we talk a couple more minutes, I used to do
of course,
a whole bunch of sessions. But I do very, very few sessions anymore. It's because people just want answers. But see, answers isn't it. They just want to satisfy the curiosity to know if they're right or wrong or this. And that's all the ego looking for identity. That's what Seth talked about, transient knowledge. You take it in and then it goes right back out. And then you go, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? It satisfies for the moment, but the void is still there because you're filling the void with the identity. You have to realize there's no void. You have to realize that you're enough. So those ideas about finding out the answers about everything is not going to get you home. It's just going to lead to more answers.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't
I've noticed
do the sessions. I just teach what I know and I channel, and the people get whatever that is. And they've taught us magnificent stuff. Wonderful ways of moving into different realities, wonderful ways of manifestation, wonderful ways of just creating worlds around you. and co-creation beyond the frequencies of normality, and all perceiving that I have access to all things. Only my mind says I don't. My worthiness says I don't. I can't have that because it's too good.
Yeah.
A lot of people reject what they attract
Yeah.
because their
No, I
mind
mean,
doesn't like it.
I've done it too in the past. I've definitely
Sure.
done it. I
Yeah.
have noticed a lot of people get kind of, it's almost like an addiction to the oracle. You know what I mean? Like they get kind of addicted to
Sure.
tarot reader channels or,
And that's fine.
oracle channels because
That's
they
their
don't
reality.
have to do the work themselves. They're just because they don't trust themselves. I
They
mean,
don't trust
I've noticed
themselves.
that
They
within
trust the
myself.
outside. That's going to get me home. And 10 years later, 20 years later, they're still going to channelings, but they haven't changed. And that's not
Mhm.
wrong. They have an opportunity to recognize when they get a light bearer in their life, that's when they're ready for the change. They've opened up to change. They found enough humility to let go and they want change without judgment. When they get that, they'll attract the light bearer.
Hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah, that's how it works.
I love it. Yeah,
I
it's
definitely
really
want to have you on the show some more if you'd be interested. I would love to do more
anytime.
shows with you. Oh, that's so cool. Well, I should probably, where are we at? Let me see. We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Yep.
Is there something else you'd like to discuss or should we call it a day?
I think we're good. There's a
Okay.
lot in there. There's a lot in there to unpack. So give
I
people
mean,
some good time. They'll start to get
I'm
perspective.
gonna rewatch it because I
Yeah.
got told a few times about some stuff that I would like to work on. So thank you
Yeah.
for that. I appreciate
So
it.
just, point people to my YouTube. I've got
Yeah.
800 plus videos, and you can see my evolution of my channeling in my early years and then how I've evolved. And right now, I just usually speak on Sunday from my heart. Sometimes I channel. I'll bring Sly in on my Sundays it's the tab of the playlist of live channelings. And I've got a ton of ideas about just looking at the perspective, and they're all based on you recognizing it within yourself. So if this is interesting, check out my channel. And of
Yeah.
course, my
And
website's there too.
I noticed also that the energy did change when Sylvester came in.
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely felt it. So I feel like watching the channelings it's helpful on multiple levels. You learn with your your brain, and then also there's an energetic transfer, and so
Absolutely.
it helps on many levels. So
I remember when I did a workshop, I've done like only, I think we did one retreat and two workshops. But whenever the channel comes into the room, everyone is like, "Holy shit!" It's just the vibrational difference is incredible. Whenever whoever comes in to teach that section of the class today or whatever we're working on in the workshop, and it's
That's
wonderful.
so cool.
And I love it because I don't have to do all the teaching. I'm over here doing whatever, and they're doing all the teaching. They use my body though, so whatever.
Yeah. Is Sylvester an aspect of you or what?
No, he's different. I've been lately. I've been channeling me in the advanced classes, my collective whole, which has been wonderful, wonderful. Sly is an entity. I'm just like Sly, but I'm not Sly. I got a lot of that same personality, a lot of the same traits that Sly is, but Sly is Sly, and me, and Osifius is Osifius, and all the other ones that I channel. And then the collective me is much softer. It's much it's a little bit softer than Sly,
Did notice that for sure. It was like
Yeah.
like more of an edgier sort of
Yeah,
version.
he rides the edge for sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to end this recording. And to anyone watching this, I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to share it with your friends or push the thumbs up button or subscribe or whatever you want to do, you do it. So that's about it. Would you like to say goodbye?
Thank you all for tuning in.
Yay.
We love you. Bye-bye now.
All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Okay.